in addition to what Ms. Al-Hassan is saying, and of course what Article 128 already says about the kind of qualities that are needed. And I'll just read that very briefly to you because the clause 4 says a person shall not be qualified for appointment as a justice of the Supreme Court unless he is of high moral character and proven integrity and is of not less than 15 years standing as a lawyer. So that's what has been spelled out. But in terms of qualities in order to prevent a recurrence of what we saw, what measures do we need to put in place? Madam Gloria Foywood, I'm kind of thinking you are muted. If you can unmute yourself so we can hear you. Okay, I'll have to get to Professor Opoku Antwi whilst Madam Gloria Foywood tries to fix her Zoom. Prof, the same question to you. What are your thoughts?
Can you ask the question again, Beatrice?
Yes, I was asking that aside from what Article 128, Clause 4 says about high moral standard for a person expected to be appointed to the Supreme Court, what else do you expect in terms of measures needed to put in place in getting the new CJ to prevent a recurrence of what we've seen with Gertrude Torkornoo?
Well, thank you. I think that opinions are divided about this, and it depends on where you stand, because psychologically, you even watch a team performance based on the team that you support. So you don't care much about the other team, but it is the team that you support. So if you look at the divided opinions about this, I think that when we talk about high moral integrity, it is something, the trait somebody has acquired over a period. And it does not necessarily mean that when that person gets a position, the person will continue to behave the same way. Because there's a popular saying that you give somebody power or give them money and then their behavior changes. So somebody can have that kind of high moral integrity and character, but when they get a position, they can behave otherwise. That is why references are good based on your previous performances. When people get new positions, we have to still have procedures and laws that guides their behavior. So having said that, I don't know why we have been going back and forth. This issue we've talked about this for almost 2-3 months now. And I remember in a letter to his brother, Napoleon Bonaparte wrote a letter to his brother in 1806. And this is what he wrote: more energy, more energy, more energy. And what it meant is that energy was needed. So Albert Einstein said that energy is equal to mc2, which is mass times the speed of light squared. We seem to be spending a lot of our energy on this.
I'm not muted. I'm not.
We seem to be spending a lot of time on this issue. And I think that we need to spend a lot of energy on other equally important issues. Because the Constitution is clear. We talk about the spirit and the letter of the Constitution. I've also talked about the energy of the Constitution and then the speed of which we handle issues. Now, when we go to Article 146, it's very simple that the Chief Justice of Superior Court shall not be removed from office, shall not be removed from office, except, so two things are stated. That is, the first one is stated misbehavior, and the second one is incompetence. So the question we should all be asking ourselves is that, did she err on those faults, stated misbehavior and incompetence? Now the others is a procedure, which is 146(2), is the procedure that if the person is caught for stated misbehavior or incompetence, what should we do? It follows that the president will receive a petition. And after the petition is received, he will discuss with the Council of State. That has been done. Now, after deciding that with the Council of States, there are 3 justices that are picked because we are looking for one thing. Prima facie, is there anything that proves that indeed she or he misbehaved or there was a stated misbehavior? And then we have a committee set up. All these processes have been followed. So why are we arguing about the same issue? I have always stated that power actually belongs to we, the people. So Nixon was impeached. Our president can be impeached. If you go to Parliament, the Speaker can be removed. The same way as the Chief Justice can also be removed. So the three arms of government, even though they are separated, they cannot be removed based on the constitutional provision. Now, if all the process of the Constitution have been followed, then why are we still talking about the issue? Why is it a big issue?
So the question I asked you was, in replacing the CJ, what kind of measures do we need to ensure that whatever it is that we have witnessed, we don't see a recurrence? Briefly, and I'll go to Madam Gloria for
like I said, you cannot predict anybody's behavior with substantial accuracy, that when you give them a position, they are going to behave the same. So if we want to avoid such things happening, that means that anybody appointed to that position should make sure that they don't breach any of the clauses of Article 146, period. Now, after that, the woman stated a couple of issues that, she needed the family to be there. So luckily, we have a Constitutional Review Committee that is looking at some of these issues. And I think that it will be fair so that if I am facing that kind of trial, I can have some family members around just to hold my hand and then strengthen my hands. Those can be done. But if we want to change all the provisions of the Constitution because one person has been removed, that means that when we are removing the president or the president is being impeached by Parliament, then we also have to change some parts so that it will suit the person who is coming next. Laws don't change like that unless there's an amendment process that we have to go through. So what I'm saying is that anybody given a higher position, you have to go by the tenets, rules and regulations of that position. If you breach them, that is why once you are appointed, the previous caller made it clear, and I agree with him. When there's an appointment, there's also an avenue or procedure for removal. So if the procedure for removal has been followed and nothing has been breached, I don't think we should waste a lot of energy talking about the same thing, because we are a country that have a lot of issues that we should be talking about, not that somebody has been removed. Even though I understand that we have to watch our Constitution the way it gives a lot of power to the executive. We have to make sure that the legislature and then the judiciary have equal power so that the checks and balances will happen as we all anticipate in our Constitution.